Welcome to Halloween Horror Month on Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review John Carpenter's Halloween.
The 1978 classic Halloween, directed by John Carpenter, is about a young boy named Michael Myers who ends up stabbing his sister and then is put into a mental institution for 15 years. He then escapes and returns to his hometown to prey on young teens. So what do we like about this movie?
Have to kick it off with Michael Myers. Everything kind of like builds his character throughout the film. Dr. Loomis doesn't even know what Michael Myers' motivations are.
I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
Even the whole look of Michael Myers, just the mechanic's outfit and the mask, the silence, just his whole mannerisms, how he's creeping in out of the shadows, like he really comes off as that ominous, creepy killer, and he doesn't say anything.
Yeah, like without knowing that this movie was going to be about a murderer, which we kind of have a bias because we know what the movie's about, but we don't know that he's going to go return to his hometown to kill people. We just know that he's kind of stalking these women and stalking these different teens. Because even like when he meets the young boy, he just kind of sees him and the boy looks and runs away. Like the boy knows he's creepy, but then the rest of it just like he's off in the distance. We kind of see him kind of in the background where like the main character doesn't know he's there, so that adds a whole new creep factor to the whole movie.
His mask is an emotionless, white, dull figure, and you don't really know anything about him. Is he laughing under there? Is he like really pissed when he's killing people? You don't know. It's just like a blank face. And if you don't know, the mask is actually a William Shatner mask that they just picked up and painted white. They were gonna go with a clown mask and they decided against it, and it's really for the better, because if it was a clown mask, it wouldn't have given that same like weird presence, I don't think.
I love the direction that John Carpenter was going with this, because the pacing of this film was extremely slow, but the way he shot everything, the way he had those long takes, all his dolly shots, it just made the mood that much creepier.
Some of my favorite shots were the way that he established the settings. We start off in Haddonfield, and this is daytime in the suburbs, but what's really cool is it's like empty streets, bare streets, nothing's there. And they follow that up at the very end, re-establishing all the different locations, and there's just no movement. And it's just like, that's fucked. Especially knowing that Michael Myers has now gone away, and they don't show him again, and it's just like, whoa, this could happen anywhere.
And it's interesting because in other movies at the time, you never saw the main killer. But in this one, he tries to show him as many times as possible, but in a very distant shot, like away from the main characters, just to let you know that he's watching.
They're making the audience feel that tension, like when is he gonna strike? Where is he gonna pop out next?
For example, the classic iconic scene where Laurie, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, is in the classroom and she looks out the window and sees Michael Myers. And it's this kind of subtlety that's just fucking amazing.
A lot of the tricks they were using in this film were more depth of field, especially when they're trying to make Michael hide in the shadows, which was an amazing technique to use.
I also want to talk about the score in this film. It was all done by John Carpenter himself, and I loved the little subtle tweaks where he kind of sped up the score at certain times, where it was subtle enough that you could like enhance the pace of the scene even though the camera was still moving at the exact same speed.
And even having like the score and the creepy like piano play when regular things were happening, even if Michael was never around, it just made you feel like something is off about this whole situation, even though nothing happens. Which is also really cool with the little deterrent that they throw in when Annie runs to the shed and does not get killed by Michael Myers.
Yeah, I thought she was going down because she was by herself. She was locked in there. She was in a very vulnerable situation.
This goes to show the difference between modern day slashers to slashers back in the 70s. If we were to watch this movie today, the thrill effect or like the it factor to scare people would be the kid opening the door and Annie would be chopped in half.
But no, she's not. And that's what's scary, is you don't know where Michael is right now. He's doing something different than you think he is. So you thought you were being smart? No, you're wrong. He's somewhere else, and he could fucking walk up and stab you.
The lighting was really the key point to this movie, because there was only maybe 3 or 4 times where they actually had the lights on in the house. We had so many different shadow effects, and it just really made the film have that vibe of like ominous creepiness.
Another thing worth mentioning is Jamie Lee Curtis, or Laurie Strode, as the Protagonist. She kicked the shit out of Michael Myers. She didn't make one bad decision this whole movie. Her character was just so strong and awesome, and she like gave a shit about every single thing that happened to her. She wasn't one of the other teens that wanted to fuck and just like ditch babysitting like Annie. Annie just kind of fucking said, hey, why don't you watch my kid? And she's like, fine, yeah, I'll watch all these kids. We're gonna carve a pumpkin, we're gonna watch scary movies, I'll read them fucking stories, I'll do whatever they want. Lori just wanted to do the right thing. And when Michael Myers came, she fucking stabbed him several times, 3 times, and she just like played it very, very awesome. She grabbed a fucking hanger and stabbed Michael Myers with a hanger. She is the best protagonist I think I've seen in a horror movie ever.
Now, Halloween didn't have a lot of kills, but which ones do we most enjoy?
My kill goes out to Judith Myers. It's the first kill in the movie. It's really important, and just the build-up, the style that was used really created Michael's character overall. We start off with a point of view shot that seems like it's a continuous long take, but really it's divided into like 3 different sections, but it's cut so seamlessly that you wouldn't even know. And we're just following the perspective of who knows who, because we don't know who it is at this point. They find a clown mask, and then we finally figure out who the killer is as Judith turns around and like, and then just slash, slash, slash. It's more like just the impact of what's going on through Michael's perspective. That, to me, just set the bar.
I enjoyed the death of Bob. He just finished getting his hanky-panky on, and he kind of hears some weird noises. And all of a sudden, the back door opens up randomly. At this point, I would be thoroughly creeped out. So then he opens some doors, like, I got ya! Nope, no one's there. Tries another door, opens it, there's Michael. Goes out, grabs his neck, kind of holds it up against the wall, and pulls the knife out. And we see the knife for like a long time, and he just kind of one stab into his chest, and then he just kind of dies. And Michael's just kind of looking, twisting his head, kind of staring at the dead body. I really enjoy this because it emphasized his disconnect from society.
Mine happens almost immediately after Cullen's. My favorite kill is Linda, played by PJ Souls, who's got an amazing body, by the way. Grade A boobs.
Totally.
She's waiting for Bob to get back with the beers. Michael Myers is wearing a sheet, wearing Bob's glasses over top of them, just looking like a fool. And she's just like, come on, Bob, where's the beers? She ends up getting strangled with a phone cord, and it's just awesome. And Michael's just like strangling her relentlessly as she's calling Lori. Lori thinks that she's just fucking at the time that she's calling, because she's like, like, well, she's struggling to breathe. The best part about this kill, aside from her boobs popping out once more, is when she falls to the ground, she slowly reveals Michael Myers by pulling the sheet down. I just thought that was brilliant, and this kill is just, it's awesome.
Alright guys, so Halloween is such a classic in our mind that we actually have no dislikes for this film, so we're going to move straight on to the final thoughts and ratings.
Halloween is a timeless classic, and Michael Myers, everyone knows who he is. He's this awesome killer. This film really set the bar. I can't really say anything bad about it. I love the pacing, I loved the story, I love the cinematography, and I loved the style of killer that Michael is. So that being said, I'm going to give this film 5 Jolly Time popcorns out of 5.
I love this movie. I think John Carpenter nailed it. It started out slow, and then we get this big build up at the end where all the kills happen. I love the score, I loved the settings we had, and just the kills in general. They were well thought out and very calculated. And pretty much most slashers after this were inspired by John Carpenter's Halloween. So with all that said, I'm gonna give this movie 5 things out of 5.
Halloween is one of my favorite films ever made. So much so that I have Myers tattooed on my forearm. I love this movie. I think John Carpenter is an amazing director. He scored this brilliantly, and I think the cinematography was just top notch. I love Michael Myers as a killer. I think he's just such a creepy, weird, dark person that is truly terrifying. I wish that I saw this in the theater back in the 70s, because I know it would have just shaken me to the bones. I love this movie, so I'm gonna give this 5 asshole kid bullies out of 5. As always, thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Let us know what your favorite Halloween film is. Like this video, and to stay up to date with everything Bloodbath and beyond, make sure you subscribe. Happy Halloween.